Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today as we celebrate the slow and eventual death of this palette. So let me not waste any time and get right into showing you the progress that I made. It's not been the best progress, but it's progress, so we're gonna go with it. And this is what she looks like. So you'll notice that I still don't have pan in, what is that, red ochre. I don't know if you can tell, but I do have a dip in that pan now. And what I did is I decided that I don't want to be panning this palette into November. That was my end point, was November 1st. So now I'm like doing everything I can to try to just get it done before that date. So I don't really like any of the colors left in this palette, and that's why they're the last colors left in the palette. But I'll tell you what I have on my face today. I'm not wearing any blush because honestly, I'm not crazy about wearing Venetian red as a blush. It has a weird, well, it's not weird. It just has a purplish undertone that makes my cheeks look more bruisey than anything, and I don't like it. So what I've done is started using red ochre and Venetian red as colors to set my lips with. So I put on a lipstick color that I'm trying to pan right now, and I'm not crazy about it, but I do really enjoy red ochre on top of that lip color. So I'm using it as its own pigmented lipstick. Does that even make sense? I don't know. I just got off work and English is failing me right now, so I apologize. So I have been using both as eyeshadows, but progress has been really slow panning them as eyeshadows, which is why I'm trying to figure out other ways to use them up. Because going into October, like I said, I really want to get through this. I've been using warm taupe a lot to try to blend out my eyeshadow. So today I have on Venetian red and warm taupe throughout my crease. And luckily my concealer that I use as a base helps me to blend it out a little bit more. It makes the color less weird. My opinion of warm taupe is that it's just a freaking weird color, and it needs to be paired with like the perfect lid shade if I'm using it in the crease, which is how I use it. So that's it for Modern Renaissance. Now let me show you the progress I made in the Nubian by Juvia's Place, which I've been using to help me pan that palette, the Modern Renaissance. You can see I have it on my lid, but let me just show you. And like I said, I'm not trying to pan this eyeshadow palette. It just happens to be that it's compact enough and neutral tone enough that it just works for, you know, work and not really thinking about what I'm gonna do with my eyeshadow. And so I hit pan again in this shade here, which I'm really happy about. This is my first Juvia's Place pan of eyeshadow that I've ever hit pan on. My mom has only like 3 Juvia's Place eyeshadow palettes, and she's hit pan in several of her shades in the Magic palette, which just boggles my mind. I'll eventually have to buy her another Magic palette, but you know, at least she's panning her eyeshadows. So the next one that I'm close to hitting pan in, I'm so close I can feel it, is this one. I have this on my lid today, and pan is really close, because what I think is happening is I don't think these pans are really that deep in here, which is a good thing because I'm trying to pan them. But anyway, these are pretty, they seem like they're pretty shallow pans, And so I think I'm pretty close to hitting pan here. And I use this shade still as like a highlight. I'm no longer crazy about it, just because the pink goldish, like the rose gold undertone, depending on where on my face I highlight, can be a bit much. So it's actually more useful to use it as a shimmery blush rather than a highlighter. And then today I'm also wearing this like antique gold bronzy color on my lid. And mistakenly, like, I unconsciously matched my eyeshadow look to my jewelry. There we go. Yeah, I just do that. I like to match my clothes and my accessories with my makeup. It's a weird thing that I do, so. And I haven't used any other colors out of this palette really. I'll occasionally go into this one if I want to use red ochre and just have a really red look, but I don't do that often. I have to really be in the mood for that. And so that is the end of my update for these two palettes. And going into the home stretch of this, I've had some realizations about how I want to use my eyeshadow collection, what my makeup collection in general means to me, and what the rest of my physical possessions mean to me, and why I hold on to things, and why I feel compelled to use this eyeshadow palette up. And I was just thinking about how I felt when I first bought Modern Renaissance. It was my first high-end eyeshadow palette with any real quality. I mean, it was the first eyeshadow palette that I bought that was more than $10. And so I'm still pretty nostalgic about it. And I think the nostalgia and respect for the product that I initially had is what's keeping me going at this point, because I really did think it was beautiful when I first bought it. And going into my next panning project, I think that instead of concentrating on panning one palette at a time, I'd rather hit pan in more eyeshadows and really get to bounce around in my collection, enjoy more of my collection, because I still think that my collection of eyeshadow palettes is really curated. And because it's so curated, I love everything that's in it, and I want to be able to use more of it rather than just letting it sit on its shelf and thinking about all the cool looks I could make if only I weren't panning the one palette. So far I don't really have any ideas about what eyeshadow palette I want to use to replace this one, because I think that's what I'm going to do. Since I've hit pan in this eyeshadow palette, I kind of want to rotate another palette in and try to hit pan in that. And so far the only idea I've had to do that is, hold on. So here are the palettes that I've been thinking about using. I have the Good Sport palette from ColourPop, which is a nice fall theme palette that I really have not used more than, I think, 5 times. And these are really small pans, and the colors, like the shimmers, are really nice. I know I could use High Hopes or Trooper to blend out warm taupe throughout my crease, and I could really make some nice looks using this palette in conjunction with Modern Renaissance. The other candidate is the Born to Run palette. This is what it looks like. I don't have any pan in this. Born to Run was the palette that I bought last year in July. So I bought Soft Glam and then I bought this one, I think, at the same time. And I'd much rather try to pan or hit pan in this than what I would want to in Soft Glam. I just can't take another neutral color story right now. I need some color. So I thought, okay, this is kind of compact. I think it would fit in my makeup bag that I transport to work with me. So I'm thinking about doing that. I have dropped this palette several times, and so colors like Blaze, Stranded, Big Sky, Wanderlust, they were all cracked, so they don't have all the product in them because they shattered when I dropped the palette. So they might be easier to actually hit pan in, and I adore this color Stranded, and I wouldn't protest about wearing it every day or every other day. So I'm going to decide which palette I'm going to try to hit pan in again, and at the next update and the finale, I guess you guys will see how that goes. So that's the end of the September update. We're about to roll into month 11 and the finale, and so I will see you guys there. Bye.